The next person who's going to be speaking to us today is a young man who I admire deeply. He is a young man who's going to grow up to be an amazing man of God and a leader of men. And he's one who has just changed so much, and Christ was there for him and helped him get through some of the hard times in his life. So Jay, I'm going to come up and ask you, how did you come to Christ, and how did Christ change your life?
Good morning. Well, as Micah said, he asked me how I found Christ and how Christ changed my life. You know, I was raised in this church, you know, since the day I was born. You know, I mean, me and Jonathan, they're basically brothers from another mother. You know, he's like 8 days older than me, literally. And, you know, I mean, I've been loved every day of my life. You know, everyone that's ever been here. You know, I have multiple grandmothers. You know, I have my grandma Linda, I have Joyce, you know, I have, what's her name? Gail. Yeah, you know, it's just love all around. And, you know, that love kind of disappeared for a while. Apologize if I'm tearing up, but back in 2003, I lost my father. I was 9 years old. I spent my 10th birthday the day after he died in the hospital. And surrounded by my family, oblivious to what happened. Sitting there in the hospital bed. My mom comes up to me and says, I have something to tell you. And everybody's crying. I'm wondering what's going on. She says, your daddy's dead. That's the moment my life just changed. The moment where I had to grow up. Where I decided to, you know, give my life to Christ. I'd been baptized previously before that, in 2001, December 21st, I remember that. And I'd like to read the scripture. It's Luke chapter 9, verse 23 and 24. It says, and he said to all of them, Jesus, if anyone would come after me and he must first deny himself, take up his cross daily and follow me. Whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will save it. 3 years after my dad died, I had only one father figure in my life, and that's my grandfather Tom. You know, we started our car show in Warden. You know, 2 years after we started, he died. You know, we started in 2004. He died the day after my birthday. 2 days after my dad died, 3 years later. And I was empty-handed. I had no father figures at all. I didn't know where to go. And I didn't know what to do. I had no one to lead me. No one to show me how to be a man in the world. And it sounds weird, but I thank Christ for taking them. But in a way, he didn't take them. They just gave up their lives for him. So I can come to Christ and be saved and save others. You know, I was baptized for the forgiveness of my sins 2 years before my dad died. I think of it as a goodbye gift to him and my grandfather. You know, I thought coming to church is what you're supposed to do. You know, every week on Sunday, when I was, you know, before they died. Now it's just, I do it because I love it. Another scripture would be Matthew 6, 25 to 34. It's just, don't worry. It's just, it basically states, you know, are you not much more valuable than the grass in the field? You know, one day it's growing green, and next day it's cut down and burned. You know, you don't have to worry. God's got your back. You know, you don't have to worry about where you're going to eat. You don't have to worry about where you're going to live, or, you know, what you're going to wear the next day. God has your back. You know, He feeds the birds out in the wild. He feeds all the animals. He feeds all the flowers. They don't worry. He just does it because He loves them. He loves us. You know, God's on my side forever. For everything, He's through with the good, the bad, and the boring. You know, He's with us all. He wants the best for us. That's the reason He created heaven. Another verse is Matthew 11, 28-30. Just come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. You know, when I found Jesus, I found rest. I would have never gotten past the struggles, you know, the death of my father and grandfather, and everything that's gone wrong in my life, if it wasn't for Jesus. You know, without His grace and His love, I'd still be depressed, and, you know, I'd be stuck in a hole. He's with us through everything, you know. I want to live with Him in heaven forever. That's why I've devoted my life to Him. I'm the happiest when I'm with my Father. You know, both the ones, well, my father and grandfather have passed away, but the closest I can get to them is heaven. That's why I've devoted myself to Christ, so I can see them again. Some of my notes, I can't really read them. I have bad handwriting. You know, I learned how to go through life as a broken, hopeless, and depressed, and lost man, knowing that nobody has to feel this way. Christ is the reason why. If He can get me through, you know, the loss of the biggest figures in my life, then He can get you guys through anything. Trust me. He pulled me through like it was, you know, just snap of His fingers, like that. Just because He loves me, you know, He could have let me be stuck in that hole for the rest of my life. You know, if you're looking for true love, unconditional love, peace, eternal joy, all you gotta do is look for Jesus. He is all of that. Follow Him. You know, He hands us things every day that we take for granted. Just life itself. You know, He hands you the people here at church that love you. Every single one of you. Visitors, you know, members, He loves all of you. And there's an emptiness in your life. And look to Christ. He'll fill that emptiness forever. There's a scripture in the Bible that says there's a woman at a well where she's thirsty, and He tells her about a well that she can drink from once and will never be thirsty again. And she says, well, where is this well? And He tells her it is through I, the Son of God. And, you know, just please, every one of you, I beg of you all to come to Christ and be saved and loved unconditionally and have that eternal peace. You know, personally, it scares me to death to think that everyone in this room is going to go to hell and I'm going to go to heaven. I don't want to share eternal bliss. Or, I mean, yes, I do want to share it. I don't want to take it all to myself, is what I meant. You know, I don't want to be selfish and be up there just chilling on a cloud and everybody's sitting there, you know, down in hell burning. You know, I'd rather stay here on earth for eternity till the end of time, saving people to send them to heaven. And when the end of time comes, then that will be when I accept the invitation to heaven. I want to save everyone I can. Life's too short. Just